I guess it hit the fan when it choked me to the point that I couldn't breathe. I couldn't breathe, and I was trying to tell him, like, stop, and I couldn't because I couldn't talk. So I passed out. I didn't even know I passed out till my little girl, Lindsay, came in the morning crying, and she woke me up.
Conducted. Heightened orgasms through asphyxiation, increased violence, delivering and receiving pain and punishment during sex. But what happens when your sexual partner takes things too far? In this season, the Scorned Women of Miami, you're going to meet one of those women. Stay tuned, and you'll get your answers. This is Gotham Investigations, and I'm your host, Jeff Giordano. We have with us a special guest today, and we're going to hear her troubling journey. Her troubling journey with her 5-year-old daughter at the time and a spouse that turned on her. I remember when she hired Gotham Investigations, I looked at her when I heard her story and I says, when are you going to stop? When are you going to learn? He doesn't love you. Get out of this relationship. The scars will not be gone. And sooner or later, I told you that your soul was going to be torn. Over and over again, until finally you had the courage. She doesn't want to say her real name because there could be repercussions still to this day from her ex-husband. And also, she does not want her daughter's friends to maybe Google her name someday and see what torture, not only the daughter, but what she went through. So for the purposes of this episode, we're going to identify her as Linda Garcia. Linda, welcome to our show. And the purpose of you joining us is she really wants our audience and women out there that feel like they are trapped in a relationship, that there is a way out. Linda, welcome.
Thank you, Jeff.
So, when you hired us, you know, your husband, I remember you said, was a kind of like a high school sweetheart, and you reconnected like years down the road. I don't want to say how many years. I know how sensitive women could be when they pinpoint your age, but around a few years later, you met the love of your life again. You married him. You were married for 15 years. Everything was going fantastic from the beginning. You want to kind of explain how you met? Well, we know it was in high school, but your journey, how you reconnected when you got married, how life was back then when you first got married, and your journey that you went on. I
met him at the mall, actually here in Bal Harbor, and it was wonderful when I first met him. It was like love at first sight, actually, and it moved pretty quick. Our relationship moved quick, and I actually moved in with him. I think within 2 weeks we connected, and like a whirlwind romance. So I was very happy. In fact, it was great. The first 10 years, about 9 years, it went really well. And great provider. He was a good. I mean, he had a little bit of sometimes he would get a little bit angry, but nothing. I just went along with it. Nothing overdone. And we did some traveling, so that was good. And then we had a good intimate relationship, and then he came one day and he mentioned to me that, hey, why don't we try something different? And I was kind of stunned a little bit. And
when you say something different, like go out to a different restaurant, what does something different mean to to our audience.
In sex, it's something different, intimate. So I'm thinking, oh my God, what is it, another girl or something, another woman? I'm thinking. And he had just some things that he had bought at a sex store.
So you've been obviously married for some time now. This is a high school sweetheart. You disconnected, then you reconnected.
Yeah.
You're all excited. You're all emotional.
Right.
Eventually, you get married, correct?
Yes. We got
And
married.
during that course of time, things I guess can get boring in the bedroom when you're with the same partner, the same spouse, having sex over and over again. So he
Right.
comes to you and he says he wants to bring something different to the bedroom scene, and you're kind of like in a little shock there. But go on.
Right. So I didn't. I didn't know what he meant at the beginning. I'm thinking, and he opened up his bag and he had some paddles, some whips, and I went along with it. I went along with it because I wanted to make my husband happy. And actually, it turned out to be pretty good. Well, what happened in the bedroom. But he started then getting a little aggressive. He got aggressive and started choking me. And that went on for a little bit. And then one day it got really aggressive to the point that I passed out. I was gasping for air.
Now, I don't want our viewers to miss anything, and I don't want to embarrass you either. But I remember when we first met, and you retained us, and we went on. But you did say that you had one of your best orgasms from asphyxiation of him strangling you the first time, and that's what kind of had you kind of move on to say, "Hey, I could do this again."
Yeah, that's. If I'm being honest here, yeah, that was exactly what happened. So it was okay. I went along with it. It was good. It was something that was between us, and then I guess it hit the fan when it choked me to the point that I couldn't breathe. And I was trying to tell him stop, and I couldn't because I couldn't talk. So I passed out. I didn't even know I passed out till my little girl Lindsay came in the morning crying, and she woke me up. So then I knew then that I was in trouble. But I still went on with it a couple times, and then he got physically abusive on me. And then when he got physically abusive on me, that was when it was just, I knew something was wrong. I knew something terribly was wrong here. And I spoke to my friend Eileen. I confided in Eileen. And she, I reached out then to you. I
remember you even said that he brought a knife in the room and started cutting you.
Oh, yeah. That's when I got scared. And I was afraid of my life at that point. And
you even told me at the time, by the way, it's been pre-COVID since we connected, again there on this case. But you even told me that you were blaming yourself. You were like, maybe I did something that he's punishing me for. Maybe I said or did something and I deserve this punishment. So you were kind of caught up in that feeling for a while. Can you explain that to the viewers?
Yeah, I just didn't understand, and I'm thinking, maybe there was something that I did, or I wasn't a good wife. Because I mean, he gave me everything. I had everything, and I was confused, and then that's my friend Eileen was telling me that that something's wrong here, that's not, it's not normal. And I mean, you hear about couples that they do different things intimately, but when I passed out and then he hit me, he slapped me a few times, and then I just wanted to leave. I knew then that something was wrong, and I was fearing for my life then. I was in fear. And then Eileen told me about you, and that's when I called you, Jeff. And then I didn't, you know, I didn't want to get him in trouble, you know. I just wanted out, and he wasn't having any of that.
I remember we interviewed you, and then we asked for a special interview with your daughter at the time that was five at the time, 5 years old, and we found out that he also threatened her when she brought home a C on her report card one
Right.
time, and he put a noose around her neck,
Oh my
and
God.
he kind of threatened that if you don't get A's and B's, this is what could happen to her. And you had contacted at the time Department of Children's and Families, and because there was no direct vision of bruises on your daughter, that they couldn't step in at that time, but you had several marks and stuff at you, and all they did was refer you to a local police department because they don't handle adults. And you were like visibly, when you heard that, you just went crazy and you said, that's it, you were going to take a stand. So explain to the viewers emotionally your inner self where you said, this is it, I'm ready to move on.
Well, when he put the rope around Lindsay, that's when I you know, can't mess with my little girl, and at that moment, that's when I just knew that I needed to get out. I needed to get out, so I actually stayed. I took my stuff and I stayed at Eileen's, but he knew that was, because I really didn't have that many friends, so he started stalking me. And I didn't know how to feel safe. I was terrified. And I'm so thankful to you, Jeff, because you took me to a safe place, and then you were able to put a surveillance on him, and I was able to then we went to the state attorney's office. You remember that? And then at that point, I'm sorry, I can't really think of it so hard because I know it would break me.
So just so our viewers know, even if you're married, if you what happened in Linda's case was she wanted to be safe. She went to her friend's house as a first step. The husband still continued to harass her to the point where we were able to introduce you to a divorce attorney, and that was your first step.
Yeah.
And through that, we were able to get a restraining order put in place, where I even went down to the family courthouse and testified on your behalf. So the restraining order was in place. Being a policeman for 30 years myself with the city of Miami, I kind of knew the steps to take. So I advised you, we have to do a police report on the stalking. You would go to another friend's house, his car would be there. He would be calling all your friends, and he would be using derogatory statements saying that you're this, you're that, don't listen to her, throw her out. Even your mom, he had contacted saying things, and she was devastated by it. But it was the constant following. You were in a grocery store, you would turn around, he was there.
So I went to the park and I walked, he was there. He would watch, he would follow, and at that point, I was terrified.
So we did a stalking report with the police department.
Yes.
And then what happens once it's documented, The individual was told to stop, but because of our surveillances, we were able to show that he violated the restraining order. The problem with restraining orders is if I'm here bothering you now and you call the police and I'm gone, it's a misdemeanor, so they really can't arrest.
Right.
But because of our surveillances, the photographs that we took, the videos that we took of him, of really harassing, and there was one time where we even got him scratching your car, which, you know, obviously he's the one paying for this stuff, but it was just to demean your character, which then it became aggravated stalking. We had him arrested, but, you know, unfortunately, within a month or two, you're out. They refer him to programs, violence programs, but it doesn't help your emotional state of mind. Can you tell us how you felt and your mom felt every time you would turn around, he would be there, and how you felt you just couldn't get out of this relationship?
Well, it's terrifying because it affects your system, your health, and you live in fear. And all you just want to do is you're looking for peace. So I just wanted to be safe with my daughter, and I just couldn't imagine something can happen like that after being with somebody so many years, that they can just change like that. And I just wanted to be okay. I just wanted to be safe. And I'm really thankful. In cases like that, you have to have the right people. The attorney, she was very helpful, and then you. You
she was a kick-ass Italian attorney, so
yeah.
you know.
I mean, you acted like family, like you really cared.
We did, when it escalated to the point and the restraining order and he was arrested. We did contact the police department, a domestic violence detective, got a hold of you, and they moved you and your daughter to a safe house for about a month.
Yeah.
I know that must have been, you know, tormenting not only to you but your daughter, because you're in this building that is just covered with other women that are sexually abused, and beaten by their husbands, their boyfriends, and then there's kids there. So you didn't want your kid in that environment, but you knew it was a safe environment. Can you tell us about that and some of the women that you met there, their stories, and how you thought maybe your child would be attacked or affected there?
Well, there was so many different women with different backgrounds that some of them were close to my story, that you would never imagine this stuff is really going on. You know, you're thinking this only goes on like in a third world country, and it was terrifying that your life stops. It takes time off your life, because it affects you. You're everything. So again, I'm thankful that, I mean, I still get worried, and I hope he never knows. Well, he has rights to see my daughter, you know, supervised. But I'm here because I want women that are going through the same thing to seek help, and they should come to you. But it's hard to find where could you go. You don't know where you're going, and I think I'm very thankful that, I guess, that someone recommended that I speak to you, and it really it's changed my life to at least to have peace in my life, and I'm just trying to put the pieces together to move forward.
You're very fortunate that.
Yeah.
Where did you live during the time of this? You know, when you were married and the time of the incident.
I lived in a nice place. I lived in Surfside. Mm-hmm.
Okay. You're fortunate that you
I was able
had money. You had backup.
I was
mass.
able to afford it.
You know,
yeah.
you can afford, you know, a top-notch attorney.
Yeah.
Other people aren't as fortunate as that. But still, it was hard because sometimes it's even harder. That do I lose my lifestyle? Obviously, I remember he cut you out.
Oh.
You know, you weren't getting no money at the time, and
Right.
and he was even threatening to take away your car. But the car was in both your names, so he couldn't do that. But you were hurting. You didn't have any money
No.
at all for a few months there. It took
Yes.
you a while.
Yes.
When you got out of the safe house, you went to your mother's house with your daughter till you got back on your feet.
I had to borrow at times. And thank God I had some money that I had set aside. But no, I did run out of money. Yeah.
So your daughter, how is she doing?
She's okay. She's in therapy now. Yeah, we're in therapy.
So was
She
that
remembers everything.
was that part of the agreement, or was she kind of emotionally caught in between, your separation, the divorce, what happened to her? Now she's understanding, my God, I had a noose around my neck as a threat, or is that something that the courts required her to go to therapy?
No, it didn't. They didn't require. I just thought because she was having a lot of trouble at school and at home, so I thought it was better for her to get some kind of counseling, to be able to see her. Because you always want the father to be around for the daughter to not to hate her father, and I hope he gets therapy too.
So hindsight, looking back, I'm sure you would have cut the relationship a long time before.
Well,
before
hindsight,
the pain
looking
and
back,
suffering.
I think, you don't want to have, I don't think I would have some wild sex. I think that wasn't such a good idea. Yeah.
So not to get into your personal sex life or anything like that, but has that affected you later on in life? Like after you left him, are you very cautious? You have sex and you're just kind of lay there. What's going to happen next?
No, I'm fine
kind
being
of an
alone.
odd question, but
I'm fine being alone.
okay. Well,
Yeah, it's terrible, but I'm okay with that.
And how are your daughter's grades in school now?
It's better. At least she has friends, and making sure that she's out with with other children and playing and going to activities. So just keeping busy. It's hard for her to sleep sometimes, but
I imagine yourself as well. Now you communicate. The only communication that you could have with your ex-husband is through this. I think it's called a Wizard app. That's with the family courthouse app. So
Yes.
he's not allowed to have any direct contact with you.
No.
You don't have any direct contact with him.
No.
And the supervision for your child is supervised. If he has, so if he could spend whatever it is, whatever it calls for, 8 hours on a Saturday, but there has to be somebody present during that visitation.
yes.
How does that affect your daughter? Does she want, sometimes say, Mom, can I go to the park with Dad? Can I go to Disney with Dad? He's because I remember also you told me that he's kind of mentally torturing her to say, tell your mom to stop this. I want to take you to Disney World. I want to take you to Universal Studios. I don't want a supervisor. Mom is getting in between us. I remember you told me that, and that was kind of like a mental torture for her.
Right. So definitely the supervised visits work really well. So I have to admit that's good.
So you don't want to stop that.
No, absolutely not. No. He
And
almost
what do you
killed
tell
me.
your daughter?
I just say, that's the way it is, because Daddy was not. He needs help. He's getting help right now.
Okay, so she's slowly starting to understand that.
Right. And she can make her own decisions when she becomes 18,
Now, you've become quite successful since your
Yeah.
divorce and separation, and some prominent people as well that are helping you get on your feet. We won't mention any names because we don't want to tie
Yes.
your business back to your name. Obviously, you don't want your daughter's friends to
Right.
Google your name and find out, but that's very admirable of you to say, I'm not going to be a woman in his shadows. Can you explain a little bit about that, of what you yourself took to say, I'm going to be a success. I'm not going to live in his shadow?
Well, I think there's so much information now on the internet that you can choose to do anything, and there's you can learn. So just learning and take it one step at a time, and just a lot of hard work. If you work hard and you believe in something, you know, it'll come together. You just gotta keep going. You gotta get up, you know.
So what do you say to all those women out there that are stuck in a relationship and they feel that if they leave, they're going to be broke? If they leave, their child will not have a home, a roof under them, and they just continue being tortured. What do you say to them?
God always provides. You have to have faith. I mean, I believe in God. Just have to work hard and persevere and lead a life with integrity. And if you have that, if you follow that, anybody can do it.
Did you believe in God throughout the whole process or only after?
Well, I lost a little faith there for a little bit,
Sure.
but the Lord is the only one that can help you through in anything.
Yes, it can.
Yeah.
Getting back to your episodes and your meeting, you said he brought paddles in the room. He brought ropes to strangulation. What was one of your wildest sexual encounters with him where you said, this is just getting
It was
a little too
the
far?
strangling. That was it. That was something like out of a movie. That was just, and then his expression on his face, it was just like this was a different person.
And this is a man that you knew in high school, childhood sweetheart, a man that you reconnected with, you were soul in love, a man that you went years with, no episodes, life was just normal. And then one day he just it's the person that you do not know. It's the devil in disguise.
It's a demon.
There's no doubt. A demon. That's a demon. And for our viewers out there, because there's not only people that are middle-aged like us, there's young people that are going through this, 16, 17, 18 years old, and they're afraid to come forward because they don't want their parents to find out about this. What do you tell these girls?
Just get away. Talk to your family. Talk. Just move. Life is too short. There's good people out there, you know.
And have you moved on? Are you in any relationships now?
I'm in relationship with my business and my peace right now.
That's phenomenal. So
Yeah.
you don't need a man to tell you what to do or to
Nope.
be on top of you and
I don't
tell
know.
you what to eat, tell you what to drink.
No. I'm perfectly fine.
You're just married to your business, and that's what makes you a success.
Well, if something comes along that, I'll have to make sure I do a background check on them to find out about past relationships and just make sure I step into with the right person. But right now, I'm perfectly fine. I don't need a man to feel whole.
You feel whole with your daughter. You feel whole with yourself.
Yes.
And you feel whole with the business that you created. That's a huge success, I might add.
Yeah.
And keeps building on success with more followers, more very prominent individuals that are hopping on your bandwagon, what you created. I mean, you should feel really good inside about yourself right now and the point of life of where you're at and what you were able to leave behind and the new journey and the path that's ahead of you.
Thank you. We'll see. Thank you.
There you have it. One of our scorned women of Miami that would not take hurt and would not take anything from another man. She stood up, she confronted him, she looked him in the eyes, and she faced danger, but she did what she needed to do for her and her daughter. Are you a fan of our show? Do you like our show? Then comment, hit the like button, and subscribe, or you might be the next one we investigate.